It's time for Tread on Sports. Highlights from recent Lobo games, plus coaches' comments and player reactions. If there's time, we'll touch on local high school events and even have some comments on professional sports and teams of interest to New Mexico sports fans. Tread on Sports is an original production of Dana TV in cooperation with ProView Sports Channel 26. And now, here's Tread, your host for Tread on Sports.
Welcome to this episode of Tread on Sports. We're back at the pit coming to you for this episode, and today we're going to be looking at the UNLV and San Jose State games, both men and women's, and then a little bit later in the show, we're going to get my Super Bowl reaction from the New England and Atlanta game. There was an exciting comeback win for New England. But let's start with some UNLV highlights. And for this UNLV game, we see Coach Bradbury broke out the Cherry Blazer, and to get the score starting, Alex L. drives baseline, spins, and puts it up off the glass. But it's going to be Dakota Gonzalez gets the scoring started for UNLV with that three. Then she gets the lead up, pass up ahead, but Michaela Burleson with the nice block. UNLV is going to end the quarter getting 2 threes, one here from Dakota Gonzalez, and then the next one here from Johnson. And at the end of the first quarter, the Lobos would trail 19-6. It was a really slow start from the Lobos, and UNLV was hitting every shot, and the Lobos were letting them have it. Here we see Powell miss a nice up and under, but Bell is able to knock it back in for the 2 points. Charisse is going to hit a 3 from the right wing, and then Vanderkill gets her first one-on-one opportunity, and she'll make that every time. Here we see Vanderkill get beat on defense as the Lobos go into the half down 16, 33-17. And at the half, the Lobos really could have used some scoring from Jason Nunn and Emily Line. In the second quarter, the Lobos were able to slow the Gonzalez sisters, who had a combined 14 points at half, 9 from Dakota and 5 from Dylan. Charisse and Michael Burleson led the Lobos each with 5 points, but they only had 5 points. And Michael Burleson wasn't happy with only those 5 points in the first half, as she kicks the second half off with a nice 3. Vanderkill was really take over in the second quarter, as we see her get 1 bucket and then another one off the offensive rebound. Here Michael's going to find Vanderkill again as she beats her defender down the floor and gets the uncontested bucket with her right hand. Charisse is going to dice through the lane and put up a floater from 5 feet, miss it, but she'll get the rebound and put it back up and in. Here we see her start the break and play a beautiful 2-man game with Michael as she gets the points. Here on the defensive end, she's going to make a nice read, and as coach says, they don't miss many when they're 1-on-0. And here again, Vanderkill was too tough for the defender, and at the end of the quarter, the Lobos cut the lead to 4. And in that third quarter, the Lobos outscored the Running Rebels 24-12. Vanderkill and Charisse Benyon would combine for 21 of those 24 points, as Vanderkill had 12 points on 4 of 5 shooting and 6 rebounds just in the quarter. Dylan Gonzalez was still able to get 5 for UNLV despite her team being outscored 16-2 in the paint and 8-0 on the fast break just in that 10 minutes. Strother hits that with just under 7 minutes left to keep the lead at 5. Charisse cuts it to 2 with under 6 minutes to play, and Vanderkill chases down the offensive rebound, puts the ball on the floor, and makes a nice jump step score. However, Dylan Gonzalez will make that 3 to make the lead 5 with just under 2 minutes to play. Lobos couldn't mount a comeback, and they fall 61-52. Charisse would finish the game with 20 points on 8 of 17 shooting. She almost got the double-double, but was only able to pull down 9 rebounds. Even after that strong the third quarter, where we saw Vanderkill get 12 points, she finished the game with 16 points, but was able to also get 12 rebounds. Michael Burleson finished in double figures with 11 points, but it took her 12 shots to get it. The Gonzalez twins were trouble for the Lobos all day, combining for 26 points, and they split the embryo, each getting 13. After the game, we caught up with Coach in that Cherry Blazer to see what he had to say about the game.
We were fine in the first half. We just didn't make a shot. And, we turned them over there a lot in the third quarter, and that allowed us just to get basically breakaway layups. So we made some of those. So that was nice.
The Lobos have played well in transition all season, and today was no different. Coach was asked how he thinks his team plays in transition.
Yeah, we're not bad when we're 1-on-0 down there. We make a high percentage of those.
Once again, it was Charisse and Vanderkill leading the Lobos in scoring. Coach was asked how he thought his stars played today.
Rochelle was good. Charisse was good. Rochelle's a pro. You feel for the kid. She has to play 1 against 3 every night. And, it's amazing that she can ever even get the ball.
During the game, it appeared many of the Lobo turnovers occurred when they were throwing the ball to a spot, not necessarily to the player or where the player would be open. We asked Coach what he saw in the turnovers committed by his team.
We turned it over 14 times, which is a couple more than normal, but that's usually pretty good. A couple of them were critical, but at critical times. But I don't think the turnovers hurt us much. I don't know why we did that, to answer your question. Bad decision maybe.
All season, Coach has talked about the need for his players to hit shots when they're open. I asked him if these are shots his players are capable of making, or if it's players just taking shots they have to take.
We practice them. Do we make them in practice? Every now and then. Somebody has to shoot it. I would love for Sharice and Rochelle to shoot it. Of our 59 shots, I'd like for them to take 55 of them. But unfortunately, the other team has a coach too. So they guard them. So somebody has to make a shot.
After Coach, Sharice sat down for some intense interrogation from the media. I asked her what she thought was the difference between her team's performance in the two halves.
We came out with a lot more energy than we did the first half. We started rebounding the ball more, so they would miss the shots and we would get the rebound. So I think that was the difference in the second half. We're not coming out with much energy in the first half, and that's what's killing us.
With this being the second game against UNLV, where Sharice is from, I asked her if she had a different mindset playing against this team, and then followed up with, what did she mean by different?
Sometimes it's me more because I'm from there, but not much. So I think I come every game prepared with the same mindset. It's just that there's not just me, but our team all in general. There's such a rivalry between the two. I think it's just a different game for us all. So.
At the half, we saw the recently injured Jason Nunn. We asked Sharice what void this injury creates.
She's a good rebounder, and she's that third scorer that we need to release the off of Rochelle. So when she subs in, they have to think about who they're going to double. So if they double Rochelle, then Jasa can hit the shot or she can drive it. So we're losing a big offensive threat on our team and rebounder. She's a good offensive rebounder.
The men's team were traveling to Vegas, where they were looking to have a little bit better luck than the ladies' team. But they'd be playing without Tim Williams and Dane Kuiper in the lineup. The game was close throughout the first half, and the teams would go into the locker room tied at 35. The close game would continue throughout until Damian Jefferson would break the 13th and final tie of the game with a layup with 2:49 to go. The Lobos would knock down free throws down the stretch and pull out the victory 80-77. During the game, they were able to ride the hot hand of Elijah Brown, who was 5 of 9 from three-point land. And he finished with the game-high 29 points. While the Lobos and their fans expect this kind of performance from Brown every night, the surprise performance came from Abaj Ajet, who had registered his first double-double of the season. He put up 15 points and came down with 11 boards. When we come back to this episode of Tread on Sports, we're going to see men's highlights against San Jose State and maybe see what I have to say about the big game down in Houston. Stay tuned.